YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here with another video, and in today's video, we're back in full effect with the training camp daily uploads. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL, in this case our Washington football team. And let's get straight into today's training camp recap. Let's get it. We're going to kick things off with talking about the injury report. Now we're going to talk a little bit about this later in the video, but I just want to get it out the way now. Sadiq Charles, Vivian Monroe, they were at practice and they practiced stretching, but they did not partake in today's practice. So I mean, all the injuries that we have aren't really big injuries, and I suppose big injuries, and they should be ready for week 1. Supposed to our NFC East rivals like the Eagles and the Cowboys, they have been getting decimated by injuries, especially the Eagles, but our injuries have been like low-key and not really, you know, that effective, although they're just a little banged up and a little nick, and that happens. So we should be having Sadiq Charles and Vivian Monroe back in a couple days, but they just taking it easy like we are doing with Chase Young and his hip flexor. Another injury that we have to talk about is to our running back Antonio Gibson. Now when Antonio Gibson got hurt, Ron Rivera said that it was just a little kick in the shin, but he did go down and talk to the trainer, so it's just a little injury. It should be okay. Just kicked in the shin, and he's just probably a little sore. He should be fine for tomorrow, because after he got hurt, he got back into the practice and he was good to go. So that's just a little injury update for you guys to kick off the show today. Not really that much injuries to talk about. We've been staying relatively free from injuries as far as big injuries. The only big injury that we had was to one Kevin Harmon, and probably I would say to Thaddeus Moss, now that he can't go out there and play in his rookie year, but he should be back for 2021, no doubt. So let's kick it into some of these notes. Jerron Christian and Chase Young actually battled today, and let's read verbatim. As we do all these videos right here, we know everything that we get is from JP Finley, so shout out to JP Finley. Jerron Christian and Chase Young just had a 1v1 pass rush drill. Young's helmet flew off late in the rep. He had the edge. So that's good for Chase Young, man. He's slowly becoming back into this defense, man, and he had a great day. Probably his best day of camp, honestly, in my opinion, and you'll understand why as I get further into the notes. But to kick off the day, he had a 1v1 session with Jerron Christian, the starting left tackle that we are expecting to be the starter, and he didn't whip up on him. It was a good battle. As they said, Chase Young helmet flew off, but he had the edge. So that's good, man. Like I've been saying all season long since training camp started, iron is sharpening iron. So Chase Young, the best player in the 2020 draft, sharpening our starting left tackle. We're getting to see Chase Young dominate, and we're getting to see Jerron Christian hold his ground and also get better. So they're helping each other out, man. So I love to see it happen. Our starting left tackle getting some work, and he actually held his ground a little bit. They said that Chase Young just had the edge just a little bit. Just a little bit, as his helmet flew off late in the rep. So Chase, we needed to tighten up that helmet, my boy. And like I said, we're going to talk about Antonio Gibson's injury. Here's a little more in depth, and here's a little more, you know, detail about the injury. So Washington was doing some hard-hitting short yardage run drills. Antonio Gibson was slow to get up at one point, but came back in. So we talked about how he got hit in the shin. And Ron Rivera's post-practice conference or press conference, he said that it was just a little kick in the shin, and they let him come back in. So they felt that he was, you know, fine. So we should be all good and gravy with Antonio Gibson. Like I said, relatively been staying healthy this whole entire training camp. But our injuries have been, you know, more so a little nicks, you know what I'm saying? Not really that big injury, and I'm happy and I'm praying that we continue to have this throughout training camp and the season moving forward. Some more news on Chase Young. He finally got his first 11v11 action today, and let's read what happened. First play 11v11 was a pass to Logan Thomas, and Chase Young just blows it up and blows up a run on the next snap. So man, Chase Young has balled out today. Now you see why I said he had his best day of training camp so far. Not only was he doing well in the 1v1 drills, he also did well in his first 11v11, you know, appearance this training camp. So I'm excited, man. Like they said, he blew up the run, and then he also blew up a screen pass to Logan Thomas. So that play recognition is there, and we're going to need that for when we play teams that like to run screens a lot and run outside runs like tosses and stretches and stuff like that. It's not all about getting to the quarterback, although that's what we want him to do and that's what we paid him to do. It's good to see that he's versatile. He can go out on the edge and chase down running backs. He can sniff out screens, maybe pick off one or just bat it down, or like he did today, just blow it up and make the tackle, or even drop back in coverage. Although I want him doing that? Never. He's going to have to do it 1% of the time. And Chase Young even said it himself that people are sleeping on his drop back coverage, his ability to cover. So although I want him to be doing that, never, he's going to have to do it 1% of the time. And I'm glad that he has that in his arsenal too. So like I said earlier, it just was a quiet practice today. It wasn't really a lot of media attention today. And JP Finley basically arrived on that in this quote here. He says, it's been a quiet practice, but some excitement after a strong throw from Haskins to Steven Sims on the sideline. Dropped the ball and just passed the cornerback. So like we said, Dwayne Haskins, and I think this is going on a week. This man has been wrapping up practice after practice after practice, man. And I'm so happy for Dwayne, man. He's finally becoming more comfortable. And I'm telling you guys, like I said every day, he's going to win MVP. And I cannot wait for it to happen. Call me crazy now, but check back with me in 6 months when it happened. I think it's like I said in my last video. I think it's a little less than 6 months. Actually, maybe 6 to 5 months now. But check back with me and when it happens. When he's in the NFL honor stage accepting that MVP trophy this year, I don't want to hear nothing. I just want to hear apologies from all the people that were calling me crazy. Haskins started to cook. A couple tight throws in a row, and quarterback coach Ken Zampese yells, "Nice rep 7." So we know Ken Zampese was in charge of getting Baker Mayfield right in Cleveland that one year. I know a lot of people don't like Baker Mayfield. Ken Zampese was in charge of his successful rookie year, and I know they didn't make the playoffs, but he came in and gave them some life. They won 7 games, the most that they won in 2 years combined. So he did give him some life, and I'm glad we have him here in DC. And he yells out, "Nice rep 7." That just shows you how much he loves working with Dwayne, and that just shows you how much Dwayne is, grateful to have a guy like not only Scott Turner, but Ken Zampese as his quarterbacks coach, and also Scott Turner as his offensive coordinator. If you didn't believe me when I said it, I have the quote right here from Coach Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera says, "Antonio Gibson just got kicked in the shin, and that's what caused him to miss some work." So there you have it. For if you didn't believe me when I told you guys that was the reason why he missed it, you want to hear it from the horse's mouth. I get it, but I had to tell you guys. And if you didn't believe me, Ron Rivera backed it up. So he just had a shin, little hit. It should be sore. Get some ice on it. You'll be alright, man. Some more notes on Dwayne Haskins for every fan that wants him to start, including myself, and a little more salt on the wounds of the fans that don't want him to start. Here's to piss you off and make you mad. Dwayne Haskins is doing a good job standing in the pocket as it's collapsing around him and getting off a smart, timely throw. Found Antonio Gandy Golden for the first throw, then got Dontrell Inman the subjected play for the first down yardage. So, hey, man, I haven't heard too much out of AGG this camp, but he looks like he found him today, and he continues to make that connection with not only Logan Thomas, but also Dontrell Inman. So, shout out to AGG for making a tough catch, and shout out to Dontrell Inman for picking up that first down for my boy Dwayne. Like I said, Dwayne has been doing a phenomenal job. He finally is finding his groove, man, and I cannot wait to see what he has to offer week 1, man. We're just 2 weeks away. Just 2 weeks away. I cannot wait. We have some notes on one JD McKissic. Let's read. I'm not sure how JD McKissic snuck out, but offense was a good fake. Dwayne works back to his left, and McKissic is all by himself and takes it all the way up the field for a big play. Hey, man, I love plays like that when we do the play action to the right, and then you throw across your body, finding a wide open player to your left. I love plays like that, especially with Dwayne Haskins' arm talent. It's never going to be a problem with getting the ball there. And maybe since JD McKissic and Dwayne stayed after that one practice with Coach Ron Rivera, they were finally able to work on that play, and it actually paid off today. So good job for that chemistry with Dwayne Haskins and JD McKissic. Cannot wait to see what they have to offer too. Couple of really good reps for the defense today as they face the twos. Chase Young almost bats down a screen as it's hauled in by the wide receiver, but Jimmy Moreland is quickly there for the tackle, so they kind of swallowed him up. Pause, of course. Not to mention, they tackled him in the backfield, so that was for a loss. We finally have some more news on Peyton Barber. I believe the last time we talked about Peyton Barber was when he got hurt, and he's finally back in the, practicing today. So we finally have some news on one Peyton Barber. Peyton Barber with a nice touch run today on the goal line in 11v11. Just kept spinning and turning until he got in for the score. Peyton Barber with a nice run touchdown today. Just shows you how tough all of our running backs are in this room, and they all have that Adrian Peterson kind of grit in them, fighting for extra yards and fighting for that touchdown, not stopping till the whistle is blown dead or it shows all zeros on the score clock. So like I said, that was all the notes for today. The last thing I do have to talk about, we haven't talked about Bryce Love, and Ron Rivera said in his presser, don't sleep on Bryce Love. He made a couple good plays today, but he just but he's just been flying under the radar. So obviously he's not flying on the radar of Ron Rivera, but just as the media, he hasn't been getting talked about for these past couple days. But Ron Rivera said it today. He made it very clear to not sleep on him. The last thing I did want to talk about was they asked Ron Rivera about who does he have a timeline for who he's going to pick as the starting quarterback. And then he replied, yes, he does. And then they said, are you going to tell us? And then he kind of giggled and said no. So it's good to know that he finally has a timeline, and we know that we should be getting a starting quarterback here very soon, maybe within a couple days to a week, because they don't have that much time, Ron. You don't have that much time. You have to make your mind up, because we have Philly coming in town in 2 weeks. So you got to make your mind up, man. So with that being said, it's me, boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe, and to the Washington football team. Like I said, today just wasn't a busy day as far as media aspect goes. It was just a hard-nosed practice once again. And Ron Rivera, at least we know a little something about the quarterback. So he does have a timetable, like I said, for when he's going to pick the starting quarterback. But he doesn't have that much time, because why? 2 weeks from now, we have Philly, and I cannot wait for us to stump a mud hole in Philadelphia Eagles, man. Let's shoot them birds down, man. Hail to the Washington football team. Like, comment, subscribe. It's me, boy Juan Gotti. I'm out. Peace.
I got a bad bitch, she said we gon' spoil you. I love them sticks, nigga, when I'm 40. She love my dick, always horny. Ain't getting back door, you already informed. Can't fuck with these niggas be corny. I'ma just a little step, and there was no Jordan.